Happy holidays, and welcome back to CP Stated, the podcast where we explore the people, ideas, and innovations powering progress for individuals with disabilities in New York State and beyond. In this episode, Laura Beth Malkowski from Aspire of Western New York and Nichole Belonge from CP North Country sit down with Kathleen Dowd, MSW, Professor of Human Services Department Chair at North Country Community College. NCCC offers several micro-credentialing programs, notably in direct support professional fields levels 1, 2, and 3 for working with individuals with developmental disabilities, funded by SUNY and OPWDD, offering stipends and pathways to national certification and degrees.
Hi there. I'm part of CP Stated. My name is Laura Beth Malkowski, and I'm with Aspire of Western New York. And my other host is...
Hi, I'm Nichole Belonge. I'm with CP Stated. This is my first podcast, so super exciting. And I'm with CP of the North Country.
And Nichole and myself are super excited to have Kathleen Dowd. She's the Professor of Human Services and the Human Service Department Chair at North County Community College, NCCC. And the theme of our podcast today is really talking about micro-credentialing. And Nichole and I both working different parts of the state, but very vested in the whole concept of micro-credentialing. And we really figured we know a little bit, but Kathleen knows a lot about it. So we thought we'd get an authority on it and someone who's involved from the college sector. So Kathleen, we're going to kick it right off. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what micro-credentialing is, because that may be a new term for some people, and how you really got involved in this grant.
Thank you. So just a little bit of a background. I have been at North Country Community College for 15 years and chairing the department for 6. And I've worked in the field of human services for more than 20. I became involved in this project when SUNY, the State University of New York, approached us about developing micro-credentials in partnership with the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities. And this was a very easy yes for me because it directly supports the workforce and expands access to education and creates career pathways for people doing this critical work every day. So getting right into micro-credentials, I think it's important, as you noted, to define what those are. And they are really workforce-aligned approaches to education that really break learning into smaller, stackable credentials rather than requiring somebody to commit to a full degree right away. And for DSPs and frontline supervisors, the micro-credentials that we'll be talking about today, it really supports their upskilling by providing more targeted training, and it's directly aligned to the work that they do every single day. And again, also while they are earning college credit that is stackable to many of the degrees at North Country.
Nichole and myself have talked a lot about this as a podcast group. We talk a lot, Kathleen, about what areas we're interested in, because we're one of the lucky people who get to be part of the podcast team. It's really cool because we kind of educate ourselves along the way about things that really have meaning to not only us, but also our organizations. Both of our organizations participate in the micro-credentialing. So we have seen, and I know we're going to talk about some of the successes that have come with it. But one of the things that we had talked about previously, Kathleen, was kind of why this was developed. And what I really found so fascinating was kind of the details where you kind of you explain to us what benefits it gives to the employees we support. So if we can go into a little bit more detail into that, really love the idea of the education at your pace. As we know, DSPs, direct support professionals, are busy people. They have families, they have lives, they have secondary jobs. So how does micro-credentialing work into some of those scenarios?
Absolutely. So they are, first of all, and most importantly, I think, to note, is that they are completely free. I know that this has been a barrier for many individuals, and especially, to afford, college. So they are completely cost-free, and individuals earn national certification, so they are aligned with the National Alliance for Direct Support Professionals. Additionally, they're offered fully online. So this is really taking account the busy individuals who are working full-time and have other caregiving responsibilities that need to take coursework online that is at their own pace. And I think that we'll be talking a little bit about what the coursework looks like during this podcast, but I also want to kind of note here, because there's a lot of flexibility. I work very individually with each person that registers for micro-credentials. So I take into account their, how many hours they're working and what other responsibilities they have. And there's a lot of flexibility in that individuals can take the courses one course at a time or 2 classes at a time. So it's a really, again, individualized to what their own personal needs are. And I think that that's really important for working individuals.
That really struck me because we've spoken about this and talking about how everyone does not believe their path can involve college. And this really gives people the ability to take that journey where maybe that opportunity wouldn't have been there otherwise. So it's very exciting, very cool, and just helps to kind of develop the concept of human services and DSPs as a profession and as a career, which is something that we strive for all the time. It is so essential to the job. It is, who do we go to when we have questions about the needs and supports? We really go to the people who know them best and the people who work with them directly. So this really not only helps a person with their career ladder, their professional growth, but also helps provide people with the tools to, give back to the individuals that we all support. So it's a very, very cool collaboration that we're lucky to have the opportunity with. Can you give us a little bit of information, Kathleen, how this was developed, where the funding comes from? I know we talked about the grant with SUNY colleges, and how long this grant is going to last or anticipated to last.
Absolutely. I think there were several challenges in the human services field, and particularly with retention and recruitment of direct support professionals. And that's really where this initiative was really driven. In addition to upskilling the workforce and professionalizing the workforce and DSPs and recognizing them, it also is intended to support retention and recruitment. And the funding came from New York State, so it was put into the New York State budget. And we are, and I'm happy to say this, North Country Community College has a budget to offer this program until the end of 2028. So the initiative is until 2030. Our current budget is to 2028. We hope that we we'll continue to get funding to expand it, to offer it even longer than that.
We definitely hope so too. And we just see so much value in this program. And it also leads to, and I think we had talked about this a little bit, is the need for education from a college standpoint. And really, again, making it known that this is a profession and this is, you can stay as a DSP as a career path or move on to what we call frontline management, or beyond. And I know we're going to talk about it a little more about the whole frontline supervisor component of the micro-credentialing. So I'm going to pass it right over to Nichole.
Hi, Kathleen. So I guess I'd like to talk a little bit about, we've talked about micro-credentialing and how it came to be, but if I was someone who wanted to do it, kind of give me a picture of what courses would I be taking? Who qualifies for the program? Are there limitations there? Do you have to live in a certain district to be able to do this? I would be very interested to know that information if I was a DSP and thinking about enrolling in this program.
Absolutely. So to be eligible, one has to be either working or, I guess, paid or unpaid as a direct support professional or frontline supervisor, or the ability to even shadow to be able to get that experience. Because as I noted, the coursework is aligned with the National Alliance for Direct Support Professionals and their competencies. So individuals do need to demonstrate the experience of being a DSP or a frontline supervisor, depending on what micro-credential that they are in. So they do have to have that working experience. In addition, it has to be at an OPWDD, or Office for People with Developmental Disabilities agency. As far as, the coursework, so we have the 4 micro-credentials. So there's DSP1, DSP2, DSP3, and then we'll be launching Frontline Supervisor in January 2026, which is super exciting. But for DSP1, it's 6 credits. So it's Intro to Psychology and Introduction to Human Services. DSP2 is Behavior Modification and Abnormal Psychology. And DSP3 is Developmental Disabilities, Developmental Psychology, and Basic Counseling Skills. So there's actually 3 classes. Many, again, students, I work with them, so they usually just take 1 or 2 classes at a time and individualize their college education plan. And then the frontline supervisor is 2 classes. It's Supervision and Leadership in Human Services and Psychology of Human Relations. So North Country Community College does serve Franklin and Essex counties in New York. So when I'm marketing and promoting this program, I focus on the agencies in that catchment area. But ultimately, anybody, in the state is eligible to apply for the program. It's really up to that participant, what college that they want to enroll in for the micro-credential, because there are multiple colleges that are offering this. And the application process is really easy. It's a very short form, and I immediately start working with an individual. So I get notified when somebody fills out that form saying that they want to register for direct support professional or frontline supervisor. And I immediately reach out to them and I start that relationship and helping and guiding them throughout the way. So I'm really their first point of contact, and I found that it's been really successful with that too. Sometimes DSPs will actually meet me for the first time before they enroll, because I go into agencies and I kind of promote the program and talk to them, and then they, I work with them from day one.
Kathleen, I just have a
Hopefully I
question.
answered all of your questions. Oh,
No, you totally. I just have a question to pop on with what Nichole asked. Does the DSP or frontline supervisor have to start in, obviously they start at the beginning of a semester, but can they do it either in September and January, or does it have to start at the beginning of the school year?
yes, I love this. Excuse me, I love this question because that's where the flexibility comes in too. So we offer the classes year round. So just for those who may not be as familiar with the college and how long it takes, a semester is typically 15 weeks. So we have the fall semester, a student might begin in August and they might end in December. Again, if they take 2 classes, I have individuals who take the 2 classes and they get their 1 micro-credential in that period, or they might take 1 class and they might do that from August to December and then take another class from January to May. We also offer it in the summer session as well. And those sessions are condensed, so they're typically 6 to 8 weeks long. So a student can actually gain, additional credentials if they take multiple classes throughout the summertime. So once again, it's really flexible, and it just depends on the student and what their needs are. And one thing too that you had mentioned a little bit ago was, this is a program where I personally have seen a lot of GSPs and who have never attended college before, and they don't think, and they've actually verbally stated this to me, they don't think that they could do it, or they never saw themselves in college. And I have really tried to promote this because it is completely free, so it's cost free. So again, just kind of, putting that out there that there's absolutely no cost. People are getting national credentials through the NADSP, or National Alliance for Direct Support Professionals. And one thing I think I forgot to mention earlier that's really important is they're also getting a $750 stipend upon completion of each credential. So when I try to sell the program, I'm saying, letting people know that it is cost free. And I cannot tell you how many people have been successful and have built confidence and have actually said to me, Kathleen, I did not think I could do this. And now they're continuing on to get associate's degrees. So they've found that confidence, and there's so many other success stories that I'm sure that we will talk about later in the podcast, but I think that that's an important point to note.
I think that these opportunities are great because it does build confidence. And when I think about direct support staff, a lot of I'm not going to say a lot of agencies, but I know from my perspective, we often promote GSPs into frontline supervisor roles. And that's, in my opinion, where the barrier is, because how do you get them the training they need to be able to supervise people? And so I was super excited when I heard about the frontline supervisor of micro-credentialing, because what a great opportunity for those people to get some training to help them be successful in their roles. So I'm just wondering, how did North Country Community College come about offering the frontline supervisor credentialing? And are there other colleges doing it, or is this limited? I think it would be great to share that information.
Absolutely. So the frontline supervisor micro-credential was developed using the same successful model as the DSP micro-credentials. It is a partnership through the State University of New York and the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities. And there are right now a limited amount of colleges that will be participating. So there were certain colleges that were selected to participate because they had a successful DSP micro-credential program. So SUNY and OPWDD are really kind of piloting it beginning this in January 2026. with a few colleges, including North Country Community College. And so we were selected because we did have a successful DSP program.
When you think about the people who have come through and been successful with the micro-credentialings, what benefits do you think they have seen so far, not only in their work life, but maybe even in their personal life?
Absolutely. Well, to start with work, because I think that, we've talked a lot about upskilling and, I've mentioned confidence. I have seen a lot of participants get promoted within their agencies. And there are also many agencies who offer pay increases once the staff become credentialed. But just as much as those tangible outcomes, their growth and confidence, you can see both professionally and personally. So I think that goes beyond, even their work, but even into their home life. When one goes to college, oftentimes there's a lot of personal growth that comes with it, in addition to gaining knowledge and skills.
How many people do you like that have completed it, go out and they talk about it and with their coworkers, and does that increase the traffic to the micro-credentialing programs? Does that increase enrollment when people are like, wow, I heard so-and-so talking about this and this is something I'd like to do?
Absolutely. I think that's really, I've done a lot of work with promoting and working with agencies to promote it to staff, but I think really that is where it's a word of mouth. So when a DSP, for example, talks to their coworkers and their experience, they encourage them to apply. Or I've seen a lot of, as I said before, I go into the agencies, or I Zoom in or go in person, and I'll have staff in the room who have experienced the credentials and can actually talk about it and what their experiences were. And obviously when they have really great experiences and it leads to, whether it's promotions or pay increases or, increased confidence, whatever it may be, that is really a big selling point, in addition to it being completely free and that they're getting stipends and certifications.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for people. I mean, when I think back over my college career, I wish that was something that was available to me as I went through, because I've been in this and doing this for a long time. So I think it's a great opportunity for people. Do you get feedback from agencies that are participating about what they're experiencing benefit-wise? And do they incentivize this program to try to get employees to do it?
They do. I work very closely. So I had some partnerships prior because of my role in the human services realm. So I had some partnerships. I've built some really fantastic partnerships with agencies in Franklin and Essex counties, and I work very closely with them to promote it. And they even will tell me stories or will talk to staff about their experiences, because they're directly seeing those benefits too. There's, increased retention and, job performance, I think in some cases has increased because the people are developing more skills, or being able to, one thing that I often hear from staff is that's, I think, a pro of the program is that they can directly relate. So what they're learning in the classroom, for example, they are directly implementing in their work that they do every day. So there's, and again, because employers are seeing this, then they want to encourage more individuals to participate in the program.
And it's and it costs nothing, so it's like a win-win situation for both sides, really.
Absolutely.
I'm just thinking about from my perspective, we've had a couple of people do the micro-credentialing, and it wasn't through North Country Community College, but we had to keep asking them, where are you at, what's your progress, things like that. And I'm just wondering, does North Country Community College keep employers like updated about the progress? Because I know we just kept asking the employee and to make sure, because we didn't want to miss out on recognizing them for their accomplishments.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of open communication. So at the beginning of every semester, when I have new individuals enroll, I send an email out to the employers to let them know who has enrolled. But then I also periodically, usually after each semester, once they've gotten the credential that they're working on, I update the employers. And one of the things that I'm excited about and that very happy about is that communication that I've had with the agencies, one, it has strengthened the partnership and because of that communication, but also staff are getting recognized. So I think it's so important. It's a huge accomplishment when an individual gets credentialed. And I love the success stories. So for me to tell those staff or those agencies is important to me. But what I've also seen is those employers are then recognizing the staff for that achievement as well. So it's not just getting maybe a pay increase in some cases, but it's even just that recognition. And I've actually been invited to multiple staff recognition days. So where they're recognizing the staff for their credentials, and they'll, call out, if they were certified as DSP 1, 2, or 3. And it's really exciting because, as I just said, it's, for someone to be recognized at work, that is just as important as getting a raise.
Oh, yes, people love it. It's very important to be valued and recognized. And I would imagine that goes to retaining them when you do that. As we've been talking about this, I've been thinking about a person, and we did talk about this person briefly before, where we hired them. And I can just, over the years of them doing this, I can see the change and the progress in them. And they are in a management position now and doing quite well. So I personally see the benefits of these micro-credentialing programs and the growth and the confidence that it can build in people. And this person has now been here a few years. So to decrease the turnover and retain people is so important, and it gives consistency to the department and the agency. So what a great opportunity and a great program that's been developed. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Laura Beth.
Yeah, I honestly cannot say enough good about this program. And I know Aspire pairs with JCC on the program. And recently we had 3 graduates, which is huge. I mean, it's such an accomplishment. And kind of like what Nichole was talking about, one of the in the course of completing the credentials, one of the attendees went from being a day-hab aide to one of our frontline supervisors. So it really, and who's to say where that would have led, but I think it only benefits the organization. For, again, people stick around if they know they're valued, like both of you said, having those celebrations when people accomplish. I mean, really, as adults, when do we get celebrated? So it's really cool to have our organization say, we're really proud of you for what you've done, because it is a time commitment. It's time away from your family. It's time away from, some of the things you enjoy doing. So it is a big deal. And I'm sure, Kathleen, you've seen even success stories where indirectly the agency and the organization collaborations, it helps to kind of bridge gaps, even to potentially fill or promote people who have graduated in the human service field into these organizations and hopefully walk into people who know them or have those relationships with them. But I know both Nichole and I talked about some success and positive things that have come out of it. Do you have any specific situations that you're like, gosh, that really warmed my heart? That's the reason we do what we do.
Yes, I have many success stories, but for today, I'll share one. I'm happy to share that we have students who are graduating with their associate's degree this December, who were in our very first cohort of DSP1 in the beginning of 2024. And one student in particular, in addition to her 3 certifications, DSP1, DSP2, and DSP3 that she earned, and a soon-to-be associate's degree at the end of this week, actually, she's been promoted to behavior support specialist, and she is so very happy with all of her accomplishments, and I'm really proud to be able to have supported her along the way. And that's just, again, one of many success stories, but it's super exciting to see, when somebody starts with these micro-credentials, right, and they are individuals who maybe didn't expect to leave with an associate's degree, and then they get those certifications, and the classes are stacking into an associate's degree, and they can see that progress, and then they keep going. It's really great. And this individual has, like I said, she's very proud of her accomplishments, but she's given many thanks as well, because I think that, she's had a lot of support from us at North Country Community College, but also her employer as well. And it's just been really great to see her growth, and I'm really excited for her.
So it sounds like this particular person this experience could have helped to transform her career path, her confidence level, and again, only benefits. And again, both Nichole and I are super excited about the whole DSP going from a DSP to frontline supervisor. Selfishly, we are both vested in the idea of what's next. Could it be in upper management? Could it be administration? One of the things that the 3 of us have talked about is the whole concept. This is great for the DSP. This is great for the frontline supervisor. How do we, as administration, how do we support those? One of the things that we've all talked about is could there be some education for us to help support those people going through their micro-credentialing journey? So I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Kathleen, but it's definitely something that we would love to see expounded upon and built upon.
I think this is a great idea. It's not something that I had really thought about until we had talked very briefly about this previously. And I think that, if agencies are interested, I can only speak for myself, but I'd be happy to develop, short demonstrations of some of the coursework and the things that they're learning, or have conversations, with upper management to inform them on what staff are learning. I think the more that upper management knows, they can not just promote the program, but they can also support those who are going through the credentialing process. So I would love to partner with the agencies that I'm already partnered with, and if they were interested in providing them with some education and some additional support, I think it would just make the program even more strong.
Agreed. And it's that ability to close that loop so we can make sure that we're reinforcing from a, full agency perspective. So, sky's the limit. Let's hope this grant lasts forever and we could get everybody trained on everything. It would be amazing. One of the things Nichole and I both felt like our organizations could benefit from would be some thoughts about so we've got this great program. Both Nichole and I work for agencies that really work with colleges on these programs, but how do we then educate our other staff members? How do we educate our agencies? How do we educate our families? And more than anything, how do we educate the people we support?
I think that, we talked a lot about this storytelling, and I think education really starts with the storytelling and the partnerships. So, educating agencies and families and the individuals we serve by really just, starting with sharing the success stories, some of the success stories that we talked about today, and, showing how micro-credentials can lead to stronger skills and higher confidence and better retention and improved quality of care. And, we work closely with agency leaders to connect the training directly to, workforce outcomes and promotion and wage growth and reduced turnover. So for families and individuals, it's about helping them understand that when staff are well trained and well supported and valued, then everyone is benefited. So it's not just about, professional development. It's really an investment in people and the future of our communities.
Yeah, it really does help people to do their jobs better and be successful and feel successful. And it's a whole teamwork. The whole team benefits from it for sure.
Absolutely. I think we can probably end this awesome interview with the pushback to agencies, pushback to colleges to say, if you have these opportunities, encourage and push people into those, encourage support, because the more you use it, the better chance this grant will be continued. As you see with Kathleen and her frontline supervisor, I mean, the reason that NCCC was able to have this opportunity, they were chosen because they were successful with their DSP program. So I think if we don't use it, we will lose it for sure. So any last words, Kathleen?
So I just want to say, you're right. We don't use it, then we'll lose it. And I hope to see this program continue to grow. I will say, as far as success, because you just noted it, that I am happy to report that as of today, North Country Community College has provided 55 DSPs with national certifications. And our cohort this semester will be wrapping up this week. So that number is going to be growing soon. And as previously noted, many of the students have chosen to stay with us to earn their associate's degrees. And I'm very excited to launch the Frontline Supervisor credential on January 26, 2026. We have 11 individuals who have signed up, and I hope more will sign up. And, for me, I'm going to continue to advocate for continued funding with the hope that we'll be able to continue to offer this important program beyond 2028. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kathleen. Thank you for your time. Both Nichole and I are going to encourage our organizations to keep with the micro-credentialing, and it would be really cool to potentially have a follow-up podcast at the end of 2026 to see how frontline supervisor micro-credentialing classes are going.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Kathleen, for doing this. The whole podcast happened because you had reached out and had done a presentation with us. So that effort and you getting that information out there is really what led us here today. So I do appreciate you taking the time to do this for us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of CP Stated. We hope you enjoyed learning about the value of micro-credentialing programs for career advancement of direct support professionals. Don't forget to catch all the CP Stated and CP Short Stated episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and several other noted platforms. New and exciting topics will be shared in both audio and video formats as we continue to explore the disability service field. From all of us at CP Stated, we wish you a healthy and successful new year.